Join us every weekday, Monday to Friday at 5 p.m. Nigerian time, as we share the hot takes and hot debates in the exciting world of football. And joining me are the usual suspects, Ikechukwu and Mayowa, as we break down all the hot takes and everything that's happening in the football. Don't just watch football, live it with us. Catch us on the Locker Room and Voice of the People television at 5 p.m. Nigerian time. And like I always say, if not 20 minutes off, please discuss.
And it's Hakim Ziyech who puts the
Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I, from social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more, tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count. To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector, from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations, and lots more. Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy.
This is Health Check, your weekly guide to better living, smarter choices, and trusted answers. From everyday wellness to urgent health issues, we've got you covered. Health Check, only on Voice of the People television, where your health has a voice.
Shapes with every headline.
In a nation full of questions,
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing. And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world, because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
Style Familoni, and here's to View PTV. Keep watching, stay tuned, do not touch that dial.
Well, hello and welcome to the Midday News and Voice of the People television. I am David Edwin. First, the headlines. Christians and Muslims begin Lent and Ramadan on the same day. Peter Obi, Sanwo-Olu, and Christian Association of Nigeria calls for unity as Ramadan and Lent begins. Lawmakers pass electoral amendments after clash. Lawmakers clash over results technology. PDP lawmaker slams reps process. Peter Obi condemns tear gassing of protesters, calls for electronic results transmission. In business, Ndimasa commits to developing Nigeria's shipbuilding sector. And in the world of sports, Nigeria, Cameroon renew rivalries ahead of WAFCON. In entertainment, Rosie Moore denies snatching Tonto DK's husband. Another news in full. Today marks a rare moment on the religious calendar as Christians around the world and Muslims in Nigeria and across the globe are beginning Lent and Ramadan on the same day. For Christians, Lent opens a 40-day season of prayer, fasting, and reflection. It is a spiritual journey that leads up to Easter. Muslims are also entering a sacred period with the start of Ramadan. The beginning followed the confirmed sighting of the crescent moon. The Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saad Abubakar III, declared today the first day of fasting. He urged the faithfuls to dedicate the month to prayer, charity, and national unity. Meanwhile, former Labour Party presidential candidates Peter Obi, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, and the Christian Association of Nigeria has called for unity, prayers, and national renewal as Ramadan and Lent begins simultaneously. They describe the period as a rare spiritual convergence that calls for reflection, sacrifice, and shared responsibility. Peter Obi said the coincidence of both fasting seasons is symbolic, describing it as a powerful reminder of shared values across faiths. He urged Nigerians to go beyond prayer by showing compassion, supporting one another, and working collectively for national renewal amid economic and governance challenges. Also, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu described the period as significant, saying the alignment of Ramadan and Lent reflects God's design for peace and unity. He encouraged Lagosians and Nigerians to use the fasting season to pray for the nation and promote tolerance, peace, and good conduct. Meanwhile, the Christian Association of Nigeria, in a statement signed by its president, Archbishop John Eloko, said Nigeria is facing serious social and economic challenges, including rising living costs, unemployment, and insecurity. CAN called on leaders to ensure effective and transparent policy implementation and urged Nigerians to reject division, violence, and misinformation in favor of unity across faith and ethnic lines. Moving on, the Nigerian Senate has passed the Electoral Act Amendment Bill after a tense and rowdy plenary session. Lawmakers clashed over a key clause on how election results should be transmitted. Tension peaked when Senator Enaya Baribe demanded a division on Clause 60, which allows manual collation if electronic transmission fails. Despite opposition, the majority voted to retain the provision. Earlier, the Senate had rescinded its provision decision on the bill to address technical errors and concerns about the 2027 election timetable. Lawmakers also worried that the original schedule could clash with the Ramadan period. In the end, the bill was passed after clause-by-clause consideration, clearing the way for harmonization with the House of Representatives. The amendments are now expected to shape how the 2027 general elections will be conducted. More so, Nigeria's Senate has amended the Electoral Act Amendment Bill to shorten the statutory notice period from 360 days to 300 days. This change effectively gives INEC an extra 60 days to adjust its election timetable. The adjustment aims to prevent a clash between the elections and Ramadan. INEC had initially set February 20th for presidential and National Assembly polls and March the 6th for governorship and state assembly elections. Debates in the Senate also focus on Clause 60, which deals with results transmission. While some senators called for mandatory real-time electronic transmission, the body retained a provision allowing manual submission if technology fails. Senate President Godswill Akpabio said the decision ensures elections can proceed smoothly, even if in the event of technical issues. Lawmakers emphasized that the revision supports transparency while accommodating Nigeria's religious calendar. Moving on, the National Assembly has approved electronic transmission of election results ahead of the 2027 polls, but retained manual collation as a backup. That decision sparked protests, heated debates, and walkouts in both chambers. In the Senate, opposition lawmakers kicked against a clause that allows paper results to prevail when technology fails. Despite the resistance, the majority voted to keep the provisions, insisting it would prevent repeated elections. At the House of Representatives, tensions boiled over as minority lawmakers accused the leadership of forcing amendments through. They eventually staged the walkout, demanding that electronic upload be mandatory without exemptions. Outside the National Assembly complex, protesters joined by former Minister Obieze Kwesili condemned the move, warning it would weaken electoral transparency. With barely a year in the 2027 elections, the controversy has reopened fresh arguments about trust, technology, and democracy in Nigeria. Into some party politics, a People's Democratic Party lawmaker, Fred Agbedi, I beg your pardon, has accused the House of Representative leadership of sidelining the minority during deliberations on the Electoral Act amendments. He says what started as a healthy debate later turned into a partisan exercise. Speaking to journalists in a television program, Agbedi argued that lawmakers were denied the right to be heard, leading to the rowdy scenes on the floor. According to him, democracy allows the majority to decide, but the minority must still have its say. He also alleged that the ruling party later directed its members to vote as a bloc, despite earlier agreements across party lines on real-time electronic transmission. Agbedi insists the final outcome fell short of public expectation and weakened confidence in the process. Meanwhile, protests have continued at the National Assembly complex, with activists demanding mandatory real-time transmission of election results. Despite the tension, the House passed the Amendments Electoral Act, retaining manual collation where electronic transmission fails. A former Anambra State Governor, Peter Obi, has condemned the reported tear gassing of peaceful protesters in Nigeria. He described the incident as a sign that the country is sliding into what he called a disgraced nation. Obi accused some political actors of undermining democratic principles despite previously claiming to defend democracy. He urged Nigerians to resist these continued evil plans and stand united in protecting the nation's democratic future. He also called for mandatory real-time electronic transmission of polling units' results. Obi argued that this is the most effective way to ensure transparency, credibility, and most public trust in elections. Comparing Nigeria with India, Obi highlighted how leadership and technology have enabled smooth elections in the world's largest democracy. He stressed that free and fair elections are crucial for rebuilding Nigeria on justice, accountability, and good governance. Meanwhile, ahead of the 2027 general elections, stakeholders are calling for greater youth participation in Nigeria's politics to prepare the next generation of leaders. The call was made at a town hall meeting in Abuja themed Power Back to the People, highlighting the importance of democracy and youth engagement. Our correspondent, Jimo Ugirima, reports.
become more politically involved. The Directorate of Political Affairs, Department of Political Affairs, Peace and Security Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, decried the idea of inviting the youth to the table rather than having the tables themselves. He added that Senegal, Zimbabwe has done it. Nigerian youths need to move away from youth inclusiveness to building the future around the youth across the country. They must own the table. Yes, they may lack experience, but nobody learns to drive by sitting in the back seat.
If you sit down watching political stakeholders doing whatever they are doing, and you say that I'm not part of it, at the end of the day, who's coming to lead you? Those people that you have not voted for, you don't even think about voting for, but at the end of the day, they are the ones coming to rule you. So it's very important for youths to participate in the democratic processes.
The executive director of ALTES called on the Nigerian political leaders to put in place structures to accommodate more youth before, during, and after the election. He stressed the need to groom the younger generation to aid the seamless transition of leadership from the old breeds.
Excluding youth voices from reform advocacy, this risks perpetuating systematic weaknesses. Our goal basically is to strengthen Nigeria's democracy by mobilizing Gen Zs, basically young Nigerians, to advocate for credible, inclusive, and transparent electoral reforms.
Some of the panelists who spoke stressed on the need for consistent engagement with government at all levels to ensure that its policies and decisions are youth and gender responsive.
I think we have policies, and these policies are meant to protect the citizens. But what we've seen over time is that because implementation is very poor or nothing at all, citizens are oftentimes discouraged.
The youths, most especially, have to think about how they can be part of the government, not even actually who the law is made for. Because those people you felt that are the politicians today fought their way up there. And when they get there, they are able to make a policy that favors them.
It all boils down to corruption. Because INEC as an electoral body, when we all have expectations for INEC, and we know what INEC is meant to stand as, an independent body. But then there are people in this independent body, in air quotes, that are corrupt.
If you elect leaders and you let them roam free, you let them roam well, without trying to hold them accountable, without paying attention to policies that are being formulated in the country, without paying attention to governance as a whole, and then you have people who would always only further their own interests.
They, however, called on all stakeholders to play their roles to build a Nigeria that Nigerians can be proud of and call their home. Jimo Ogrima, reporting for VOP TV in Abuja.
Well, thank you so very much, Jimo, for that report. Moving on to other stories, the National Orientation Agency has reaffirmed its role as the federal government's principal communication agency, highlighting its nationwide grassroots presence and daily engagement with citizens. Director General Lanle Isaonidu made this known during an interview at the headquarters of the Federal Road Safety Corps in Abuja. He said beyond radio, television, and social media, NOA officers engage directly with communities, visiting motorparks, markets, meeting traditional rulers, and attending town hall sessions to educate citizens. Issa Onilu emphasized that the agency was established by law as the government's central communication bridge. He added that when agencies like the FRSC partner with NOA, it is not a favor, but the discharge of its statutory responsibilities. You're still watching the Midday News right here at Voice of the People Television. We'll go straight to the analysis segment of the news. And joining us now to make sense of these stories and more, in the studio with us is Barrister Darlington Agumo, Barrister Darlington is unstable, a public and political affairs analyst and commentator. Barrister, a very good afternoon to you, and thank you for joining the conversation.
Good afternoon, David. And how are you?
I'm fine, very well, thank you, Barrister. How are you doing as well?
I'm okay.
All right, let's also bring to the fold Mr. I beg your pardon, Cleric Sheikh Abdul Fattah Sulaiman. Sheikh is also a public and political affairs analyst. A very good afternoon to you, Sheikh, and thank you for joining the conversation this afternoon. All right, then. Let me start off with you, Sheikh. Well, interesting times are here. And I say that because we understand that the Ramadan is starting today, as well as the Lent. What does that significantly bring to the table for Nigerians in a time like this?
Thank you very much. The reason for Ramadan is to purify mind and cleanse anything like bad behavior and bad acts in humanity. So it really have a positive impact in the life of humanity. So Ramadan is very good. A lot of things that it will take off from your life, like waywardness and so on. So the significance of Ramadan is to purify, cleanse, and make someone to think straight, most especially to move closer to the Creator, Almighty Allah. That's the significance of Ramadan.
All right, then. Well, Nigerians at this point, we truly want to also find out from clerics like you, how much of being vocal is clerics like you who, again, should be talking to government officials who definitely would be hearing you say in a time like this where the purchasing power of Nigerians has totally reduced. Things are not going the same way that they thought it was going to be. Insecurity all around the country. What would you say to such Nigerians and, of course, to the leadership of the country at a time like this?
The problem we are having is that those that can speak to them, they are not privileged to meet with them. If someone like me can talk to the leadership of Nigeria, I think they need to go for a spiritual orientation. The spiritual orientation will correct the evil and the bad mind of some politicians. Most of them doesn't have the heart of goodness, which needs to be corrected. It's not about talking. They place all the cleric. They allow them to talk, in which what they want to do is behind their mind. So what they really need now is you allow them to go for a kind of orientation about God, about the importance of good deeds, because most of them doesn't believe that there's a time they call thereafter. So I'm advising a cleric like me to seek the opportunity of this month to speak to the leaders so that they can reason with the citizens. That's the only way.
All right,
most of them don't go to a sitting of spiritual something. So that's the problem we are having. Those that can speak doesn't have the privilege. Those that have the privilege doesn't speak.
Now, that is a bit disturbing, if you ask me, because just like you said earlier, those that can speak, again, who are also clerics like yourself, are not saying anything. Isn't that an evidence of the fact that Nigerians also is losing faith in clerics who are close to the leadership of the country that are not speaking at all?
The problem we are having is that I feel is the problem of selection. They are selecting the cleric they want to see. They want them to be closer to them. Anyone they know that this one can talk too much, they will not allow the person to move closer to them. That's the problem. Once you don't want to listen to someone that can talk, so there's no reason, you don't need to disturb ourselves. That means they are not ready to learn. It's only those that are ready to learn that you teach. Those that are not ready, that this is the person that I want to hear his voice. This is the person I want him to talk to me. So the person they are expecting them to be closer to them, they are not ready to talk to them because they know each other. So that's the problem. The voice that can talk has no privilege. So that's it.
All right, then. Well, before I let you go, there is also the conversation about what you said earlier, and that they should, I'm talking about the leadership of the country, should go for a more spiritual cleansing. Some Nigerians will bet to differ because some of these people, on a constant yearly basis, visit the Holy Land and still return back doing almost the same thing that they were not doing before, and that is on the part of not being concerned about the people. Do you truly think that Nigerians would want to toe that direction to say that this leadership needs to go for another spiritual cleansing, or do you think the leadership needs a total overhaul, as it were?
What they really need is orientation. No matter how old you are, if you are not balanced spiritually, psychologically, you need to be placed on a lesson. You need to be placed on orientation. Once they are not ready to learn, they cannot get it right. The only way in this country is to allow the real spiritual guidance. I'm not talking of those that they want them to be with them. They should allow the voice that can speak the truth to their hearing to talk. Once that is not done, we'll just be going front and back. We are not going to get it right. We've used our brain. We've used our knowledge. Is not working. We need God Almighty Allah to intervene so that we can get it right in this country.
All right, then, Sheikh, before we get to some political matters, in 30 seconds, what do you have to say to Muslim faithfuls who at this time are also hoping that the Holy One clearly does something different for them in a time like this, going into the Ramadan? What do you have to say to them in 30 seconds, please? Because of our time.
My advice to the Muslim is to go and learn about the religion, Islam. If you want to learn, you have to select the lecturer or the teacher or someone that will put you through. It is not everyone that is talking that you should listen to. There are a lot of lectures online now. There are not what to be listening to.
All right,
so you need to learn. You seize the opportunity of this month to learn and select who is going to be your lecturer or your teacher for you not to go astray. Because dressing like a cleric, acting like a cleric doesn't really matter that is real cleric. That is it.
All right, then. Thank you so very much, Sheikh Abdul Fattah Sulaiman, for joining the Media News Analysis this beautiful afternoon. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so very much. Now let's come to some political matters. Barrister, thank you so very much also for staying by. Well, then again, there is also the part of the Lent, which is for Christians. Peter Obi clearly have asked that Nigerians at this time not only pray for her leaders, but also act right. Barrister, what's your position with this statement from Peter Obi to both the leadership and, of course, the citizens?
The citizens have a role to play and the leadership. And what exactly did he tell them? What exactly did Peter Obi say?
Well, he also did tell them to, of course, live a good life and, of course, hold their leadership accountable as well.
David, we have been seeing so many Lent and so many Ramadan periods over the years, and things have not changed. That is just the truth. The Western world that built their country, they did not build it through prayers. It is through what? Diligence, sincerity, truth, due process. That is what will build a nation. Not these things that we are doing here, going to Mecca and going to Jerusalem. We are not getting it right. Religion is a personal affair.
All right, then. Well, Barrister, you said it won't change anything, but something has changed from the National Assembly, and that's the Senate passing the Electoral Act Amendment Bill after a tense and rowdy plenary session yesterday. Barrister, should we celebrate this, or some worrisome clause is still found with this amendment?
Again, what is the celebration for? What are you celebrating? Didn't you see the hoopla? The hoopla that greeted this particular exercise. Should it be so? When a leader wants the country to move forward, David, you will not even hear or see the leader. You will see his work in action. Eh? You mean it is so difficult that both the House of Rep and the Senate, they cannot pass this bill the way the public, the way the people want it, without anybody protesting or do whatever.
Well, Barrister, some people will say this is the beauty of democracy, where everybody does not have to agree. Sometimes we disagree to agree.
No. This is not no, look, God. This is not how democracy is practiced from where we copied it. Most of the things that causes problem here, in other clans, they'll be wondering whether we are human beings. Because over there, such things cannot cause a problem. Look at the time we are wasting. Look at the headache it has caused everybody.
But we are a young democracy, Barrister, don't you think so?
At 65, you are still young, Abi. No, at 65, you are still a young man. Really? Go and show me that young man is making progress at 65.
I'm talking about democracy, Barrister, not by the age.
Look, there are countries that are getting independent with us. Go and check where they are. David, go and check where they are in economy, in politics, in good governance, in due process, in rule of law. Just go and check where they are, and you will tell me whether you come close to them. That's close. We are far behind. No thanks to the leadership we have in this country. It became worse under this APC. At least under PDP, you and I know what we gained. You know where we are. But immediately APC hijacked our life and this country. Things went south. To the extent that we cannot be proud of anything from this side. Nothing. At least we say, yes, we have gotten one thing right. In this age and time, we are still talking of manual transmission of results. Can you just imagine? Manual transmission of results. But when they want to steal money, it will not be manually done. No. It will be electronically. When they press their button, the money will just move. Fiam.
But Barrister, concerns also have been raised about the fact that truly Nigeria seems not to be fully ready to have such digital election like it was.
I disagree.
Do you share that concern?
I disagree.
Why?
Why is it that when it comes to matter that has a public interest in them, you say we are not ready? So what are you ready for? David, they say necessity is the mother of invention. With this type of election and all that, that is even the more reason why you should be creative. You will now look at it and say, what will cause delay? What will cause a delay? What will, and you take care of it. So when you say you are not ready, when are you going to be ready? When the world has moved on. Whenever it comes to matter like this, the government in power will tell you we are not ready. We are not yet matured. Look at adults who are 70 years plus telling you they are not yet matured to move with the time. Is that not an embarrassment on its own?
But Barrister, wouldn't the part where some network failures would happen in some areas be disenfranchising those electorates?
It is not possible.
How?
Because before now, what do you call it now? Electronic business has been going on in those areas. Tell me there's no local government in this country that does not have a bank. No, tell me there's no remote area that does not have a POS. So the people who are living in that place, how do they transact or they don't use money? No, how did they get their money? How did they transact businesses in those areas? Before now, have anybody come to tell you in those national assemblies that their constituents are complaining that they don't have network? They can't make call. At least if there are some challenges with the network, it won't last for more than a day now. It won't last. At times when they want to upgrade, they will tell you. But for that particular election that will happen in one day, what is wrong if this National Assembly and the federal government tell them, look, for this election, your network should be top notch. We want you to cover the whole Nigeria. Give us assurances. Give us assurances. You will see the network, they go to work. They know all the blind spots in Nigeria. They can, experts in this thing have told you that this thing is possible. 100% coverage is possible. Experts in this field. So why is it that when they want to play pranks with us, they will look for one excuse or the other? No, let them tell us that there is one particular area in this country where they don't transact electronic business. Go and show us, let us see it. That the people in that area, they don't even hold cash. Because there's no place to collect cash.
So, Barrister, what do you think might just be the reason why the lawmakers have inserted this clause in the new...
They are working towards an answer. This APC, I think nobody can tell me anything. I can write their story and their history. APC is known for what? To playing pranks with our lives. They are known for doing things that are not pure. They are known for doing things through the back door. APC doesn't want anything to be straightforward, so they will always find a means to do what is in their mind. If not, why the manual collation?
In the event of network failure?
No, you are working towards an answer. Why can't you wait until we get to where there is no network and we see that throughout the whole day, no network? Yes. Let us get to that point before we start crossing it. So you are telling me now that this APC, on that day, they will not tell you that there is no network all over the country, so they will resort to manual abi. And you know what that means? Why can't they make it compulsory that every vote must be uploaded through electronic transmission?
So, Barrister, if that is made compulsory and the election is tomorrow and we have downtime in the network service providers, what should happen?
Have you asked the network and they said that it is not possible? I said mandate them. Tell the NEPA, tell the networks, tell everybody that will play a role. Look, we don't want any glitch here. Can't you give such order? Let the NCC come and tell us that they cannot cover the whole country. Let NEPA tell me that they cannot provide light on that day. Then they will tell me what happened. No, these are issues now. Let the networks come and tell you that they don't have the capacity to cover the whole country. But because they don't want things to go, in a straightforward manner. That's why they are not talking. That's why they are keeping quiet. Give the networks mandates that this is an election. Don't joke with it. You must cover every place. That's just what I'm saying. Tell the NEPA man, the power minister, look, there must be light to power these systems. Is it not possible?
All right then. Well, Barrister, let's also talk about another part of the amendment bill, which of course shortened the statutory notice period from 360 days to 300 days. This clearly, brings effective change and gives INEC an extra 60 days to adjust its election timetable. Should we see this as another avenue for INEC to do better in the next election?
It will not help you doing anything. In fact, it will not bring the needed change. Because this INEC had the opportunity of doing the right thing since last year. Why can't they even wait until this matter of electronic transmission of results is sorted out? Why are they in a hurry? Why are they going back and forth? Why can't they wait before this latest order will come and, they are playing with our lives. They are playing with our future, with our destiny here. If the INEC should wait until this matter is sorted out, will heaven fall? 60 days is just, 2 months. 2 months. 2 months. What difference will it make in the election? Tell me, just what difference? No, what difference will 2 months make when the thing is not emergency? They are just playing pranks here.
Well, Barrister, another conversation that seems to be of major concern here is the funding for INEC. You think INEC would get what they asked for, because they're asking for close to $1 trillion, about 837 billion is what INEC is asking for.
Money cannot be a problem here.
But that's
because most of the things we used in the last election,
yes,
most of them are still there. Most of them are still there. The only thing that will bring about changes is transportation, because they don't have their own permanent vehicles. Is hiring transport and then the personnel. Is that not the only place where I can say, okay, money will go in? Apart from that, all other things are almost there. Printing of ballot, yeah, there may be changes because of the timing and all that. So I don't see any outstanding changes that will warrant too much money like that. Besides, 800 and what billion, almost a trillion naira. What are they going to do with all this money? No, tell me. Because the beavers they bought, all of them have gone bad.
But there will still be the need for upgrades of those beavers.
So this is what I'm saying. So most of those things are there. They are there. You don't need all this money.
But then, Barrister, there's also another major concern about a stipulated budget and the released fund for that budget. Now, you would recall that the Minister for Health and Social Welfare, Mohamed Pate, did say that what he got for 2025 was nothing short of 36 million naira from the 218 billion that was appropriated in that year for his ministry. So the conversation about how much is to be released and when it's going to be released, don't you think that's another conversation that we should be talking about now for INEC?
No. This is politics. David, you don't understand how this will work. They cannot withhold any fund. This is politics. All the money will be released, though. This is politics, and that is where their forte is. They will make sure that everything that INEC needs, they give it to them, so that they can elect them back to power. In matters like this, they don't waste time, David. They don't waste time. As for the man, look, when that news broke and the health minister said what he said, David, I was shocked for 5 minutes. Oh, seriously, I didn't believe it. I was thinking maybe Bayo Nonoga or anybody from the people will say it's a lie. 36 million out of 200 and something billion.
Yes.
For health. For health. That means indirectly these people want all of us to die. That's the truth. They want us to die. They are not interested in your health. Can you just imagine a scandal of the highest order? Look at the difference, and you are blaming the hospital, blaming everybody. Meanwhile, you are not done the needful. Look, if I were those health workers, I would just close shop. Let them come and run it themselves.
Quite unfortunate.
I'm telling you,
really, because
this election thing, don't deceive yourself. They will release all the money. They will.
All right then. Well, because of our time, really, this is where we have to draw anchor on the analysis segment of the media news. We've been talking with Barrister Darlington Agumore, who is a public and political affairs analyst and commentator. Once again, thank you so very much, Barrister, for being here.
My pleasure.
We'll take a very short break right now. When we return, more stories on the media news will be up next. Please do stay with us. Here on Voice of the People television. Now to more stories. Nigerians are reacting to the growing presence of the U.S. military and armaments in the country amid rising insecurity, including killing and abduction. A cross-section of residents in Oka, Anambra State have welcomed the move with caution and optimism. Our correspondent in Anambra State, Ndokpa Aleze, who also gathered reaction on Malam El-Rufai's recent altercation with the DSS, has a full report.
Legal authorities to journalism practitioners and even artisans, the response is same, and that is a general welcome to foreign intervention in the seemingly intractable security issues in Nigeria. Messrs. Victor Agosiobo, Ejiofor Omegbogu, and sharing their opinions.
Onslaught of terrorism, maiming, killing, dispossession, being forced to IDP camps, and all of that. First and foremost, as human beings, they must react as human beings by saying that survival is key. They will expect anybody from heaven or hell to come and protect them. That is a natural behavior. Then the second dimension is
maybe we would have seen the remaining money from the
First Lady, the President, the man talking to you, the man in the street, and we get overjoyed that a foreign nation is coming to save us from the onslaught of terrorism. Be it known that a large chunk of our sovereignty is being dispensed. We are losing it. That is the second part. If citizens of a nation are comfortable that their country, given all the wealth there is, cannot protect them, that is not sovereignty enough. Then probably the third segment is, the last time I checked, America is not a charitable organization. Okay. They may feel good about democracy. They may not feel too good protecting democracy without some kind of quid pro quo compensation, especially in the Trump era. What is Nigeria given?
Supposed to curtail the insecurity of Nigeria. I believe their intervention is a welcome development.
For now, the federal government has assured us that they are well aware of U.S. military operation in Nigeria to help, to assist, stem the tide of terrorism in some part of the country. So, since we as citizens have gotten the assurance that the Nigerian government are in close contact and cooperation with the U.S. Military as regards to their operations in Nigeria, then there is no cause for alarm.
For the invitation extended to Malam El-Rufai by the EFCC, his detention and also his trading of words with the DSS, not very many people believe it is not connected to politics of 2027.
The beauty is that an El-Rufai is subjected to the law. In answering that, there is a whole lot of question mark about how these people operate and how their interest, correlates with the interest of the nation.
It's a political fight, understand, and I believe El-Rufai is a strong opposition to the government. With time, we'll get to know the outcome of all those fights. Yeah.
Ndo Opalez, VOP TV News.
Thank you so very much, Ndu, for that report. Moving on to some business stories. The Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, has reaffirmed its commitment to growing Nigeria's shipbuilding and shipyard industry. The move aims to strengthen the blue economy and reduce capital flight from the sector. Speaking at a stakeholders breakfast, NIMASA's Executive Director Operations, Engineer Fatai Taye Adeyemi, said the sector is capital intensive and technically demanding. He noted that deliberate funding models, targeted incentives, and consistent policies are crucial for sustainable growth. Adeyemi, represented by Dr. Omar Ofodili, highlighted the importance of collaboration with industry stakeholders to address structural challenges. The discussion also focused on building local capacity and positioning Nigerian shipyard to compete internationally. The agency plans to ensure shipyards contribute to job creation, support decarbonization efforts, and meet Nigeria's obligation at the International Maritime Organization. Through such initiatives, NIMASA aims to deepen the country's maritime economy and promote long-term competitiveness. And from that business story, we move straight to talking sports. Nigeria Super Falcons will renew their rivalry with Cameroon in 2 friendly matches ahead of the 2026 Women African Cup of Nations. The games are scheduled to take place in Yaoundé on February 28th and March the 3rd. Last year, the Falcons defeated the Indomitable Lionesses 2-0 in a friendly at the MKO Abiola Sports Complex in Abeokuta, Ogun State. Both teams are using the matches to prepare for this year's WAFCON in Morocco. NFF General Secretary Dr. Mohamed Sanusi confirmed that all arrangements for the friendlies have been concluded. He added that the matches will help the Falcons stay sharp as they aim to defend their WAFCON title and qualify for next year's Women's World Cup in Brazil. Cameroon's Fecafoot also expressed excitement about hosting Nigeria and strengthening ties between the two federations. The Confederation of African Football has confirmed that the 13th Women African Cup of Nations will hold from March the 17th to April the 3rd in Morocco. And from that sports story, we'll go wrapping up with entertainment. Nollywood actress Rosie Munira has dismissed claims that she snatched her husband, Olakunle Churchill, from fellow actress Tonto Dike. She said the rumors are false and completely unfounded. In a video on Instagram, Munira insisted that she never knew Dike personally and was never introduced to Churchill by her. She challenged anyone with proof to come forward. The actress also said social media users fabricated a story and that she and DK were friends before her marriage. According to Rosie, her relationship with Churchill began independently of his previous marriage. She described the allegation as funny but annoying and reiterated that nothing like the snatching narrative ever happened. Rosie asked the public to stop spreading false claims and focus on verified information. And with that entertainment story, we've come to the end of the meeting news right here on Voice of the People Television. Do also subscribe to our YouTube channel. On YouTube, we are at Voice of the People TV, and on all other social media platforms, we are at VOP TV Live. Thank you so very much for being a part of this broadcast. I am David Edwin. Do have a good afternoon.
Join us as we drive into the world of politics through insightful interviews with prominent political figures, both serving and former governors, ministers, senators, legislators, party chieftains, activists, and analysts. Get first-hand information into the decision-making processes that affect our daily lives. Highly engaging one-hour program that brings political discourse into focus.
I am Chukwuma Okoro.
Political Lens, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Join us.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng